childhood up, we have had to conform to a certain social game. And so we're in a constant state of competition. Good assistance, secret. You can't make a mistake.
Welcome, everybody, to Friends of Failure. I'm your host, Sam, and this is my co-host, Megan.
Heyo.
I'm really excited to introduce everyone to Gabe Nunes. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. And you?
Doing well.
Yeah.
It's another beautiful Sunday, nice and sunny outside. How's the weather for you?
Yeah, it's kind of going tonight now. So
Little dark.
sun is going down. Yeah. It's nice because we are in spring now, so it's 8 p.m. and kind of lightning. so it's kind of good to go to the street yet. So that's it.
Not instantly night. Yeah.
Yeah, not instant light. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, like you have your lunch break and then boom, it's midnight. What happened? Well, so if you don't mind me asking, where are you right now?
Yeah, so I live in Portugal, but actually I'm from Brazil. So yeah, don't worry about my English. That's not perfect, but it's what games did for me, you know. So we works with what I have. So
No, it's pretty good. No, I think we won't have any issues, right? So Portugal, obviously that's kind of far away. I mean, that's like a 10-minute drive from Texas, right?
Maybe like a 12 to 14 hour flight.
Yeah, you have to fly there. Wow. No.
Yeah.
No. Well, that's cool. I've definitely never been to either, right? Brazil or Portugal, but it's on the list. You know what I mean? I like to travel. Kind of had to take a hiatus from traveling because the whole world kind of shut down there briefly, right? So
yeah,
I think we're starting to kind of get back to.
Don't curse us.
Thinking about traveling at least. But hey, I was kind of curious. I know that before we started, you mentioned being a tattoo artist, which is a new thing, or have you been doing that for a while?
Yeah. It's kind of new thing, you know. I've been tattooing like 5 years, but for me it's kind of new because every day I'm fighting with me, you know, like to improve my things and I was a barber before this. It's when I met a friend there that possibly make me to go to Texas and meet Megan. Yeah, it was good time. And after this, I was working in a workshop like with computers and that kind of thing. And I didn't like to be like trapped in the desk, you know. So I wanted to do something like me, like I'm an artist. If you look to me, if you look to my arms, it was always like this. I'm doing like a blackout right now. It's crazy, but okay. And I was like living in a tattoo shop, like not living, but I was every day in a tattoo shop.
You're always there, yeah.
Yeah, I had my tattooer is a good friend, and he said, oh, "Why not tattoo, bro? You do good designs." But it was like too much responsibility for me, you know, like put something like for eternity in someone. So
yeah, it's kind of like the most pressure an artist can be put under in a way, because it is a very permanent thing. So it was a big leap, I'm sure.
Yeah, and everyone like doesn't start good in something, you know, like you need to practice and then start. And the first ones wasn't good. Like my wife was here for me at those times.
It was your support and your practice.
Yeah. Then I moved here like okay. So you want to talk? It's good, Sam.
No, you're good. I just wanted to throw in there really quick I think it's kind of cool that you went from like barbering to tattooing, but I just wanted to ask, I was curious, have you ever seen the hair designs that people have done? Like they use the clippers and they can literally like put a portrait on someone's head.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. So did you ever do anything like that before
No.
tattooing? Just normal cutting hair?
It's weird because I like art, but for me, barbershop's more like a traditional thing. So I like traditional haircuts and that kind of haircuts. I don't
You're
enjoy
not
it.
mixing it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I feel good when I see it. Like, oh, this guy, it's so hard to do it. So it's not like to draw in a paper.
No,
you can erase it. So yeah. I enjoy it, but no, not for me.
Well, because like if you're doing that and you mess it up, it just grows back, right?
Yeah.
But now
Exactly.
the thing is, and I don't even know if I can say it's a new thing, but they'll shave their head and then just get a tattoo on the side of their head or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a head tattoo before?
I got some, I have some, but I've never been doing it.
You haven't given one. Yeah.
Yeah. I have it in myself. Like I have portraits right here. I have like Suicidal Tennis, my favorite band, and some other stuff.
I remember you getting those. Yeah. When we met, you were still at that IT job, and that was your first trip to America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really fun time, and we actually got tattoos together.
Yeah. I got this dragon clown here.
Yeah.
And it have like 13 inside, like it was Friday 13. And we went to a tattoo shop. Then I did this like to mark this time. It was very good. It was my first time out from Brazil.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And you definitely got like the best tattoo out of the group that we went with. I was telling.
It was like big wall, like, and all like 1 inch size drawings. Then I was like, oh my god, it's like $20, a lot of Brazilian money for me. So I don't want to spend this money like in 9 inches size draw. So I went like look in this, and they like, oh, I got mine. Then I look, oh, okay, so we have some traditional design that I like to do, traditional, and a big one, so that's good.
So it's a plus. Yeah. I would consider the one that I got in that trip a failure. But the beautiful thing, I'm not setting up this tattoo artist. It just was a mixture of things gone wrong. I cut myself shaving like in that healing period, and it just looks deformed. It's a little octopus. Like he doesn't look well. But the weird thing is, even though it's not like a good quote unquote tattoo anymore, I still love it because I think about that time. So I'm sure like even when you were just starting to tattoo, if you didn't feel great about something, the person getting it was like, this is dope, I love this.
Yeah, and that's for me, like tattoo is all about, like we can do tattoos like designs with no meanings, like most of mine is no meaning, but some tattoos, it's nice to have meaning, so even if it's not good, it's gonna be good for you.
It's still good.
Yeah, the meaning is good. So
it's really interesting to me because there are people who maybe have like 1 or 2 tattoos, and they're like, hey, I got this because something tragic happened in my life and I didn't want to forget a person, or hey, I got this because I didn't want to ever forget like a trip to another country, right? Like they're like, hey, this was like a really big thing for me, right? So they get a tattoo. And these they have a lot of deep meaning. When I first got my tattoos, I was really young. I had like turned 18 and I was like, I want some tattoos, right? And so I got like a reasonably sized one, and then I went and just got like a full, like it covers my chest, and but it was like a tribal tattoo, I guess is what you would call it. So it's just a lot of black and some red, right? Well, one of the tattoos that's still on my body is a person's name, and people are like, oh, like you guys must still be together, or like, who is that? And then I used to tell people the story and they'd be like, oh, I bet you regret that. And I was like, the thing about tattoos is everyone gets so hung up on it being a permanent thing. But the reality is, and not trying to be morbid here, but the reality is none of this is permanent.
Yeah.
None of this is really that permanent. They're like, well, okay, what are you gonna do when you're old and you look ridiculous?
You're gonna look old. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was like, do you really think that you don't look ridiculous now? And they're like, look at me. I'm like 30 years old. I look beautiful. And I'm like, I'm not saying whether you look beautiful or not. I'm saying, do you think that this whole experience isn't kind of ridiculous? That like you're freaking out about other people having tattoos on their body, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I grew up where I had never seen anyone with a face tattoo before.
Yeah.
Now I've seen it plenty of times, right? I don't know if I could ever handle getting like even a head tattoo because I think it would just hurt. And I'm kind of it's an experience for me to get a tattoo, man. Cause I'm like gripping to the chair and I'm like begging for God to like save me.
I'm like the exact opposite. I've fallen asleep in almost every one of my tattoos.
Yeah. Well, so like my thing is it's got to be interesting that you said you would get all these tattoos before you ever became a tattoo artist.
Yeah, like and most of them.
Right. And so now like you're doing tattoos, right? Did that change how you feel about some of your tattoos? Because I know that you said a lot of them, it was just like putting art like on your body, stuff that you liked, right?
Yeah.
Have you, oh man, I completely lost I had like 8 thoughts going on at once. So I'm going to hone in. Okay.
Yeah.
So my question for you is this. You've gotten a lot of ink on your body. Have you gotten to the point where you've covered up any of that with new ink?
So, I think I got your question first of all, but yeah, nowadays it's changed a bit my mind, like if I didn't had these tattoos before, I could do something like with great artists, because now I'm Europe and not Brazil. We have like good artists too. Like my tattooer was so good too in Brazil, and more of this, he was like a brother to me, like really. And but now I think like, oh, I could do some amazing projects. Like with this age, I have more intelligence, like and more artistic view, like about tattoo to do things, but I don't regret it,
Yeah.
I'm fine about it, and think is not too good, I think a lot about things, and this is kind of my failure. But okay, but I don't regret it, it's like oh, if I'm not doing this before, maybe I was not tattooer today, so
yeah, it got you into it kind of, in a way.
I should not met my tattooer, and so I would not have these tattoos. I will have like blank space to do whatever I want, but maybe I was not tattooer today. So
yeah,
right.
I think that's a really good point, because it's something that brought you here, and we talk about that a lot, of like all these things happen in your life and maybe like they're uncomfortable or you wish they were different, but it brings you to where you are, and now you're in Europe doing tattoos.
Yeah, this is the most thing like about me, like I've been thinking a lot about this. Like nowadays I'm a tattooer, and I say, oh, why not I did it started before, like I should be like way better tattooer nowadays, and I should be traveling like entire Europe and blah 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 blah, things that I will do like in 2 or 3 years, maybe, we don't know, but I know it's like near, I can almost grab it.
Yeah.
But maybe I should leave it if I start before. But if I didn't start before, maybe I would not be here like now, because how can I say it? I was a barber, so when I moved to Portugal, I had like a cards, like in my, I don't know how to say it, but
sleeve in your sleeve,
yeah, I have cards in my sleeve because I know like technology jobs, I know like barbershop and tattoo. So I went here like immigrant. It's the Portugal is like the easy way to have like a European passport. So they give you opportunity to do it legally. So I came here. I started to work. I have like a lot of practice. Like a lot of ways to go. I could be barber. I could be IT guy. I could be a tattooer. So it's a good thing. I survived it like as a barber. I already survived it like IT guy. Like tattooer. So things is things happen like it's
how
needs
it's
to
meant
be,
to be.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah. I when I think too much about this, I say, bro, like I'm here because all these things happen, So it was good to go to see Megan. I say Megan, yeah, but that's okay.
I'm used to it.
Yeah. I just went here, because when I was like 19, I said to my father, so the world is too big to live, to grow up, live, and die in the same spot. So I want to go to somewhere, but I don't know yet. And I said, I want to go to United States, maybe, because that's good. We can buy things, and I want to have like good motorcycle and blah blah blah. Then I went there and I see, okay, it's a good place, but it's different that I pretended,
it's
like,
way different than you think it is.
Yeah, it's not like way different.
Well, you went to Texas, so that was
yeah, I think I got like US like more like get things, like buy things, like people are like, I want to work and have this, I want to work and have this. And I'm more like the vibe, I want to live in a good place, like with history and good vibes, So here in Portugal is like old school place,
Yeah.
And I went to the street, and it's a good for me, because we have like old constructions, like churches and whatever.
There's history,
bro. Yeah, a lot of beaches here, so yeah, a lot of things to do, and that's good vibe for me. Then when I went to US, I said like, okay, so next next target is Portugal.
You're like, so not that. That's not quite what I thought it was.
Yeah, it's a good thing, like good place too. Like I made friends and whatever, bro. I like it. Like what's the name? It's like Big Kahuna. I don't remember that sandwich. It was so good.
Oh,
okay. The Big Kahuna does ring a bell.
Well, when you were there,
no, it was what a burger. It was so good.
We took you to get a patty melt. Was that it, or
what a burger? It was what a burger.
What a burger. Big Kahuna. I love it.
Like I spent good time there. It was so good, and I pretend to get back there, but so
someday.
I end up like here.
We can visit you.
So I definitely feel you, right? Because so even in the United States, right? If you go to Hawaii or go to Montana or Texas or Florida, like they end up having similarities, but there are a lot of really drastic differences too. And part of what happens is that we get these really weird misconceptions because we hear about the exaggerated parts of some of the states. Well, just like you were talking about, you had these ideas of what the United States would be like, and then you got here and you're like, okay, like not bad, but also not what I made up in my head. Well, so like there are places that I've traveled to, like other countries, that I was like, wow, this is actually pretty awesome, and like I want to go back. But I don't think I would survive if I tried to live there.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like it's like it's not that I don't want to survive. It's like I don't think I could. Like I would have to have someone.
Yeah.
I would need like a tour guide that like eased me into it and showed me the ropes, right? So if I ever come out to Portugal, I know who to find.
Yeah.
So and all I'm saying is if you ever make it to the United States again, like if you've already done Texas, like try another one, right? Like find a place that if you really like beaches, go to Hawaii, go to Cali, go to I mean, South Carolina.
Don't go
like
to Florida.
Beaches.
Do not go to Florida. Like, just save yourself a trip.
Florida
is the
not
armpit
that
of
bad.
America. I just pissed off everyone from Florida.
Have you been to Florida?
Yes, no. I don't like it.
Oh, sorry.
All right,
Gabe,
Gabe, you and I will go and we'll come up with our own. We end up on the podcast the following week. All right, guys, don't go to Florida. I mean, I know people that they live in Florida and they're like, hey, look, just don't talk to the wrong people. And I was like, how am I supposed to know?
Most people are the wrong people in Florida.
Wow.
And crocodiles. All I know about from Florida is like a lot of crocodiles.
There are crocodiles.
Oh, okay.
That is a valid point of why I don't want to go there.
You like go to your bathroom in your house, boom, crocodile.
Yeah, my brother is about to go there like this month, so
I
hope he enjoys it.
No.
He is a pinstriper artist, so he is going to Florida, then he pretends to go to Cali, and then to Las Vegas, like
now that is
Vegas
a place.
Is good.
Vegas is a place that transcends time and space. That is a risky place, man. But
it's fun because it's so risky.
Oh yeah. You slip into like a different dimension. It's like an episode of Doctor Who. I don't know if you know what that is. Yeah. So it's like an episode of Doctor Who where at the end
there's no doctor, and you're just like lost and confused.
or there is a doctor, but they're not really a doctor.
It's really just like a meth head on the side of the road. It's like, get in this box.
A telephone booth. Yeah. Help me. Hey, you know what, Gabe? Come on down. Come back to the United States. Let's all go to Vegas.
I'd be so
down.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll give you 1 year. All right. So not summer 2022, summer of 2023. You come on down. The three of us, maybe some random people that we invite. Let's go to Vegas.
Yeah. Let's go.
There we go.
All right. Okay.
I hope I made like enough money to do it. But
okay. Hey, if not, we will find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. You think
like me.
Yeah. Just to meet like tattoo artists there too, because Vegas has a crazy tattoo scene, and in general, I feel like in every major U.S. city there's a scene for that too.
Oh yeah.
But you're mainly in traditional tattoo style, right? That's your bread and butter, kind of.
Yeah. Nowadays I'm kind of jumping to a new one.
Ah, look at you.
It's like having taste, you know. So I started a traditional thing, and this was so good. But I moved to a tattoo studio here, and the guy said like, "Oh, you have so much potential, you know, so you should try new things." And I was, okay, let's try it. Then I tried to do some realism, but was not my thing. You know, I don't feel fun to do it. I was intense. Just like working, and tattoo for me it's work, but it's not supposed to, you know. So it's supposed to do something that you love, and you do like, okay, I need to do a draw. I don't will think to do it. I will just draw and we'll be good. So I started to do like a kind of dot work. It's like stippling. So with bold lines, like I put a bit of traditional like bold lines and stippling, like making a smooth shadow, but with dots, and that's my style now. Like a bit of traditional with stippling, and I'm enjoying too much to do this. I have like a good feedback from my clients, like, oh my god, this is amazing and I love it. I want to do some more. And I think I find my style. You
got your
artists
niche.
Have this. Oh, I need to find my style. And old school is like, okay, I enjoy it. I have old school tattoos, and it's all the tattooers should start from this style because it's where it begins, you know. So it's beginning in old school, so, and Japanese. So all tattooers should start from this style to find another one. It's my advice. Like,
and I think it's a good point. And then I'm sure like it wasn't just smooth sailing. How do you approach like feeling unsure about a new tattooing process? Do you just kind of stop the overthinking and go into it, or kind of walk us through that?
It essential for me. It's like a big difference was working with different tattooer, because when I was in Brazil, I worked alone, but I have friends, but I didn't work with them, so it makes a lot of difference when you are like there every time watching what they are doing, and you are like every day by side of them, so they feel okay to say you like you should change this or you must try it. And that's the big point for me. Then I went to this studio here in Portugal. It like made the big difference for me. Nowadays I'm kind of working alone again. I have a studio here, like my friend Brazilian from my city too came. Yeah. He came to this studio, so it's nearby my house. I spend a lot of time there. Like he's doing my sleeve, like blackout. So I spend a lot of time there, like drawing, and like it's kind of I'm working with him, but no. Yeah. And that's like a good thing too.
Yeah, and the overall theme is like not isolating yourself in it. Like you found support and like a group you could work with. Because I think if you would have stayed by yourself forever on it, you wouldn't have had that opportunity to grow as much. And learn from people that are experts. Yeah.
I think that I like it. I like in United States, like as I can see from here, is like you keep like the traditional way to start to be a tattooer. So you went to a shop, you say them like, oh, can I be your apprentice? So they say you to clean the bedroom and the things, but you start to learn like it should be. So I'm kind of like my friend said, oh, you should tattoo. Then okay, you will help me. Yes. Then I fuck you, like, like they say like to me, I will help you. Okay, so let's book one day. Then I book like the day before. Oh, Gabriel, I can't help you this day, but let's book another one. Then I book. Okay, I can't help you next one.
And you're like, dude. Okay.
I buy all the stuff. So what should I do now? Like throw it on the trash or try it? So then my wife say, okay, I'm ready. You can try on me.
That's a real sacrifice there. That is love.
Big mistake.
Hey.
Oh, no. Hey, she's still with you, right? So it wasn't that big of a mistake.
Yeah. I already covered the first tattoo, so I'm fine now.
I always laugh because tattoo artists, they talk about and think about tattoos very differently. Like, and sometimes I think they're joking. Sometimes I'm not sure they are, but it'll be like, oh, well, yeah, that tattoo maybe didn't come out so great, but it's small enough, just burn it off. And you're like, I'm sorry, what? And they're like, yeah, or like they just pull out a pocket knife and they're like, here, we'll just cut that sucker right off. And you're like, you're gonna cut my tattoo off? They're like, yeah, dude, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. And then we'll put something over it. It'll look great. But I wanted to go back to, I've gotten to see some really incredible pieces where, they take a picture, right? Like say you and I, we meet each other, we're at the beach, we take a picture, and they can take that picture and then put it on someone's skin where it looks exactly like the Polaroid.
The photorealism style.
The realism, right? And the thing is that, there are people that have like a natural talent, but then they practice on it, right? And they get to a point where it's like, hey, I can make this look incredible on your skin. And it, people are going to look at this and go, oh my God. But then you have to pay for it. And one thing that's really interesting to me is, at some point in your life, as you grow up, you realize that you get what you pay for. And I feel like in the tattoo world, that is very true, right? Like
the biggest example.
Because if you go and you're like, hey, I got $20, what can I get? And they're like, well, I'll blindfold myself and just kind of scribble around. We'll see what we get. And you're like, all right, hit me. You can't get mad at that, right? And like, obviously, when they do like Friday the 13th Flash, right? Like it's quick in and out. It's a cute little design or whatever. And it's meant to be in and out and whatever. But if you were to be like, hey, my dad died and here's the last photo or my favorite photo of him, and you want it to be like exactly like it is on the photo on your skin, and you're like, I got $20. I don't know. Good tattoo. Right. Yeah. Because all I'm trying to reiterate is kind of what you were saying of like, you've developed a skill set. You know what I mean? And people will be like,
have you seen the pictures online of like someone wants a baby portrait? Like it's a portrait of a baby and then it looks like a sack of fucking potatoes. Like it just doesn't look good. And they're like, it's my sweet little Jezebel, and she's just like a deformed little creepy.
Yeah, the kid grows up and goes, what was wrong with me as a baby? And they're like, it's just a bad tattoo. And they're like, I thought that's what I looked like. Yeah.
The best thing is like the memes they do, like they put the tattoo face on a child, like in a baby, and it looks so weird. Oh my god.
It messes with my brain.
Yeah.
It's like an optical illusion, but it's really not. It's just it's a horrible prank gone wrong. No, I do think it's funny too. Okay, so maybe you've heard this, and hopefully I don't like do this wrong. Have you ever heard the thing of like you don't ask someone if they're pregnant? Because if you ask if they're pregnant and they're like, no, excuse me, and you're like, oh crap, like,
yeah.
There are some tattoos that I've seen that you don't go, hey, is that a like reference to whatever? Or is like, hey, is that a picture of your baby? And they're like, this is a picture of my Rottweiler. And you're like, oh no, right? Like,
oh yeah, that is a dog.
Right. Like I've learned, I've always been grateful that ever since I was a kid or like a teenager, I always had the mentality of, if I look at someone's tattoo, right? Like say I meet you and I see one of your tattoos and I hate it. Like I hate your tattoo. I think it looks awful. I think it's stupid. Like, why would you ever get that tattoo? I would never say that to a human being because that is a permanent thing that could mean a lot to them.
Yeah.
And yet you hear these people who they have like no sympathy or empathy towards people where they're just like, oh my God, like, is that a sack of...
Like a counter to that, at least growing up in America, I don't know if it was the same for you, Gabe, in Brazil, but like we were told growing up, oh, if you get tattoos, you're going to be flipping burgers and that's your whole job. Like say goodbye to like making good money if you get a tattoo. And then as a teenager, you're like, I really want a tattoo now because fuck you. Like I'm not going to be flipping burgers. And then, you get tattoos and in the back of your mind, you're like, can I work like a corporate job? Can I be successful?
Yeah.
And then eventually it all works out and it's fine. And it's just kind of like, hey, boomers, I don't know what trauma you went through, but tattoos don't stop you from being smart or like.
Yeah, that's a good point of view because I did this tattoo face when I was a barber. And I kind of went from a desktop job, so. And I was doing like a lot of tattoos, and my father said, "Oh, why not doing a face now?" Like being mean with me. Like I said, "Oh, good point of view. I will do it." Then I did it. It's not kind of just to hurt him, Like it was. I was thinking about it, and he said so.
And it just pushed you, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, "Okay, so what should I do?" Like most of guys do LA, but I don't live in LA, so I will do SP like from São Paulo, and that's it. I like inspired in LA, but my city. Okay. Well, then I did it.
You got that right before you came to visit, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think
so. I think there's a really good point here, right? Of like, so back in the day, people were getting tattoos, like. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 50s, in the 40s, right? Yeah. I mean, people were getting tattoos. There were people who they had sleeves, right? But they were very unique and they were very capable of going like, I don't give a fuck what your standard is. No, I mean, for real, like they're like, hey, I'll figure it out. I mean, there were people that they were fishermen. They're like, nobody sees me, nobody cares what's on my body. I'm going to do what I want because one, if you want to eat this fish, I got to go get it. Two, whatever. And so what was interesting is I remember when I was younger, you heard this thing of like, well, the reason why you don't want to get these tattoos is it's not professional. So like, if you can keep them, covered up while you're working, like not a big deal. As things shifted, like face tattoos is something that gets brought up, or sleeves get brought up. They're like, well, the standard is lowering and people don't really care about professionalism, or they don't care. But the reality is what's happening is more and more people are waking up to the reality of how temporary this is and how manipulated everything is, right? And so it's like, you're literally going to lose your mind because I got a face tattoo, but you're not freaking out about that, or like, that's really messed up. Your concern is I got a face tattoo, or like your concern is like, I have this little tiny little onk on my wrist, and you're like, oh, how are we going to make any money today? And I'm like, yeah, but there are people sleeping on the street over there starving to death. And like, that's not the issue. The issue is you got a tattoo on your body. You know what I mean? And when I bring that up, people always get mad. They're like, okay, well, you're being extreme and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what is more extreme, right?
One thing that I do is like, and I nowadays I say to my clients is, think a lot before what you're gonna lose, because this is a reality. Like I was about to say, I did this tattoo face, and like few weeks after, the girl from the desktop work like called me and said, okay, so this in your WhatsApp is a tattoo face? Then I say, yeah. Oh, it's because I would invite you to come back and blah blah blah, but here we don't accept it. Then I say, okay, because I think it on it. Like I thought like I would lose some opportunities, and this is specifically one I thought too. Then I said, okay, so that's fine. I know, and I thought about it. So that's good trip for you to find another one. But yeah, that's good. But it's a reality too. You need to like think about it to don't get surprised. It's like, if you want to do it because you want, but think about the things you're gonna lose too, because sometimes you could be like more emotional, like, oh, I need to do it, and I want to do it right now. Then okay, I fucked my life. I will never get it.
Well, and like do it for a good reason, and make sure it fits your lifestyle. I think is part of it too. Like if you're gonna be, I don't know, a flight attendant, you probably can't have a face tattoo. It's just part of their policy. So that's the realist part. But I'm one of those people that you're talking about where I have to normally sit on a tattoo idea for years before I do it. But then occasionally it's like complete spontaneous, like within 48 hours I have a tattoo.
If you are, obviously, yes, you have to think about it, right? But there's a reality to it too, right? Let's say you got that job doing the IT work again. You could easily cover up that tattoo with makeup and they would never know it's there. You'd have to learn how to do that.
You'd have to do that every day. Yeah.
Okay. But then you would still have the job. Like, think about, there are people in Hollywood now that have full sleeves, and some of the characters that they play, they're like, well, shit, I guess we're just going to cover these up with makeup because like, we want you to act in our movie. And they're like, well, I'm not taking my skin off. Right.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is it's a huge decision, and don't get a face tattoo just because you're like, F you, mom and dad, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
unless you want to.
Yeah, but probably you're gonna fuck your life. But is the point. Like since the beginning I'm saying like my artistic way to live like pushed me to be a tattooer, so I didn't fight against my way, like what burns inside of me, like artistic things. But some people do it, like some people prefer to fight, like to have like a sad job, like, oh, I need to work today. And I understand it, but if you want to fight against it, so you need to leave this rule, you can't have like artistic body in a desk, that's it's maybe you you can have it, but I have lived it. Like you lost some credibility because the HR guy maybe think you are like crazy,
Yeah.
because in his point of view you are, but in your point of view you are like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm so good, I did a new tattoo and it's amazing, and I need to do a blackout right now because I feel like it's gonna be crazy.
Because it feels good, and you get whipped up in the creativity. And another thing that I hope changes in all of our lifetimes is that just because you have something on your body or something different about your body doesn't mean you can't do a job, right? Like nothing changed when you got that face tattoo that made you unable to do your job at all. And they made that choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but I'm kind of the guy that fights against me. It's kind of tattoo is not natural. So I don't people doesn't need to like it. Like, and to accept it. I know that once I was like trapped in a bank door. Like they didn't want to get me in. Like every time. Then I started to take my clothes out, like I took the t-shirt and I was about to take the pants, like, guys, it's up to you. I don't have nothing, So, and I feel like, okay, it's like sad thing, like it's not good, but I know it's not natural. So I, like I said, I think about everything and too much. So
I can relate.
Think like I thought about it already, so like, people should not accept me to enter in a bank once because the guard is like an asshole, and that's it. Okay, the thing is, it's sad, but it's true too. I don't know. I accept this point of view. You are being like an asshole, but I accept.
And in a way you kind of like force their hand because like you're a good person and you're not going to go rob a bank or whatever, but they have made an assumption on how you look that you're going to, so you instantly get to go, oh, you're an asshole, okay, I didn't have to waste time dealing with this, you just told me, so I'm gonna go.
I think there's an interesting conversation though of like how things are normalized. And I guess in our conversation here, like globally, right? I mean, tattoos mean so many different things in so many different cultures. But where like it's super strange and easy for people to be very very openly judgmental about a face tattoo, people don't want to talk about like how everyone on the planet seems to drink alcohol every day because they hate suffering their corporate job, or they hate suffering their life that they just fell into, right? And so these weird norms that, like, in some places they're like, yo dude, if you don't have a face tattoo, you're a weirdo. Like, what you've been a tattoo artist for 27 years and you never got a face tat? Like, what's wrong with you, man? They're like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it all depends on where you're going. And I do think you make a great point of like, hey, just because you're 18 years old and you're like, F you, mom and dad, don't just go tattoo a Florida on your forehead because you're like, yeah, that'll show them, right?
That's what I done.
Unless that's what you want, right?
Just put it like right over my eyebrow. I did it at 18, because I was like on that fine line of like, fuck the system, I'm gonna get a tattoo, but also mom and dad are gonna be so pissed. I got a lip tattoo, like inner lip tattoo, and the guy doing it was like, this is an awful idea, it is not gonna last. And I was like, do it anyway. I have an
tattooers hate to do it. It's because it's so obvious, like you want to do a tattoo, but you are not like
it's the thrill.
You don't have balls to do it in a place that your father gonna see.
Exactly.
Well, I went to the next extreme. I had them tattoo underneath my eyelid. So I just had to flip it, and they did a whole it was what was it? It was the entire world map tattooed underneath my eyelid. No, I'm kidding.
It's just full of lies.
It was all the answers for next week's science quiz, and I had them tattooed under my eye.
You have to pull it out.
Right. But like I know people that have tattooed, and it's a thing where like they want the thrill of it, but then they get like like I'm really pale, so if I got like white ink, it literally would not show. They would just be like, did you fall down one day and get a scar? And I'd be like,
yeah.
I'd be like, that's a portrait of my kid, right? Like but and you know, it's interesting, right? Because I think we all have that struggle, and you've kind of talked about it a little bit, which I've loved, is like your focus is you're at war with yourself. I'm not at war with the people out here. The only thing I can really change and deal with is me and my perceptions. And like, you know, I threw myself into the military. I did 4 years. This was like 10 years ago, right? I threw myself into that. I did a bunch of crazy stuff. But I think a lot of people have an assumption of like, oh, you know what it was? He was trying to be a patriot. He was trying to do the right thing. I needed to get out of where I was and just like, all right, let's see what happens, right? I slingshotted myself into the void, and I was like, hey, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, right? I got to travel. I had a bunch of great things happen to me. I had some bad things happen to me, but I got life experience, right? And one of the things that I didn't really realize at the time, but after years of reflecting and looking back, I did realize that, you know, there are no rules, man. You can do whatever you want. You're going to have to pay consequences, and you never know what that's going to be like. But, you know, even like the bank teller who's like, oh, this guy's got a face tat, like we shouldn't let him into the bank. If you don't take that personally, you very much can just see that maybe that guy got shot by someone with a face tattoo and was like, I am not doing that again. It has nothing to do with you, and it has nothing to do with you and like what you are or are not going to do.
Maybe they just watched too many shows where guys with face tattoos were bad, like something like that, not even personal. So you could just be like, okay, you don't understand this. I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, they're watching an episode of Family Guy, and they're like, I saw that episode with the guy with the face tattoo, and he shot up a bank. I ain't doing it. And they're like, that was Family Guy.
That the cop have like a paper with like color, like skin color, and put like, okay, this guy has.
Oh my god!
Color, you know? Like this maybe.
Yeah, it's like, a meme. It's definitely out there.
Take out the book and say like, okay. Like this guy looks like the guy on the book. Like I don't accept him here on the bank, so I will ban this guy. Like burn, door, close it.
The whole emergency doors come down and it like locks into place.
I'm gonna do like a learn in the course. So.
Yeah, dude. So one, I have to ask this, and after you answer it, I definitely want to help segue into. Any kind of advice that you would have for our listeners. But if I wanted to see like a showcase of your tattoos, do you put pictures of your tattoos like on your social media?
Yes. I have an 100%? Instagram. Like I just use Instagram to put my tattoos up. It's like eternal_Nunes.
Yeah.
And you can see some of my work there.
Awesome.
I'll make sure I'll link it so it'll be easy to find. Yeah.
The only reason I ask is I know there's going to be plenty of people, including myself, that are like, okay, we've been talking about tattoos for an hour. Like, I want to see them, like, right? And a lot of people, especially if it's an expression, it's art, they usually showcase them. And especially as a tattoo artist, you might as well, right? So I'll definitely be checking that out. You'll hear from me, man. But hey, that aside, I was just curious. Do you have any advice or anything that you think our listeners should think about?
I have some advice like based on my life. So first of all, so if you pretend to move like a country, save money. Save money. It's not gonna be like you think, and it's not gonna be cheap, and it's gonna be hard. And tattoo, like, bro, don't ask like if the tattooer have like fine line, because the line is made by the needle, you know. So how much needle it have, it's gonna be the line. If you have like 9 needles, it's gonna be like thicker, and that's like this, you know. Don't ask if you have like fine lines, please, bro. Like every time that comes someone to me like, oh, you're a tattooer? Yeah, you have fine line? Oh my god. Don't do it, please.
Just you switch the needle and then it's a different amount of line.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the meme for tattoo artists. Do you have fine line? And then they're like, no, right?
Yeah. For me and all my friends like this.
I hope one day after like maybe a couple of weeks, I'll be on your Instagram and I'll just ask you the question in your DM.
Fine lines.
Hey man, do you have fine lines? And then just question mark.
He's just gonna do that every 6 months until you block his account.
I was thinking like I have this design, but can you put like an initial from my kids and the date from my dad died and that a lot of things.
10 other things that don't make sense.
Okay, so you have this cool design and you want to fuck it up everything. So, okay.
So I want this picture of it's like palm trees, it's at the beach, there's a beautiful sunset, but then like right in the middle, like on a seagull or something, can you put a date? Do you have fine line, bro? Do you have
can you do it in fine line?
What I want is someone's face on my face. I want a face tattoo.
I want my face on my face.
Inception.
The whole have you ever heard of the movie Face Off? I want Face Off.
Oh,
okay.
How could you not get Face Off? Isn't that John Travolta and Nicolas Cage?
That's right. Greatest Nicolas Cage movie of all time.
Yeah.
I think I've never seen, guys. So
Gabe, we're gonna have to make you watch it.
Sorry, man.
I'll send you the link.
Not only are you gonna come out here for like a week to go to Vegas with us, but we are gonna watch every Nicolas Cage movie before the year 2000.
He's gonna be like panic booking a flight home. I can't make the whole week.
My god. And then when you show up, I'm gonna be holding a sign that says fine lines ? All right. Well, I had a lot of fun today. I hope you did too. You're good people. I enjoyed it. And like I mean, obviously I got to figure out how I'm going to pay for it, but when I come to Portugal, hopefully you'll be my guide and you can show me all the cool stuff out there.
Yeah. Good.
And then we can watch Nicolas Cage movies.
Yeah.
We can watch Nicolas Cage movies in Portuguese and then we won't understand, but they will.
He'll be laughing the whole time.
Please don't do it, please, because I hate translated movies.
You don't like the dubs?
So weird. Yeah, because bro, it's weird. Like they move in mouth.
It doesn't match.
Oh yeah.
And the sound is weird. Like the voice is kind of like too much higher than the.
It doesn't match.
Yeah, it doesn't match. It's not good. Like just subtitles.
I've done things where I just mute the audio, and so I'll watch TV like really late at night. Like I give myself like 20-30 minutes, right? So Netflix has really started to show a lot more like Japanese and Korean TV shows, right? So it's exactly what you're talking about. It doesn't sync up right. Well, I would always have subtitles on because I just have the TV so low anyway, and my hearing's all jacked up. And I started to realize that not only does like the translation audio with it doesn't sync up, but then even the subtitles aren't saying the same thing that the so
and
I realized that if I just
behind and you're like, where?
so I learned in some cases just mute it and just read the TV show like it's a book. And man, that was the best thing I ever did for a couple of those shows, because I wasn't even watching the show anymore. I was like, it is so out of sync, this makes no sense. It would be like, and then I over to the story. Like, what is your mouth doing, right? I don't know. I need to just become like multilingual so I don't even have to worry about it anymore. I can watch everything in the original. I'm trying to
get on it. Learn some Portuguese.
I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, with all that being said, that was like some awesome chaos. I love that.
Yeah.
Now it's Megan's Corner. Brought to you in part by
Megan.
Sprite. Oh, okay. We don't have any. Any
no affiliation with Sprite.
Yeah, Sprite's gonna
we're
get
open
real
to
upset.
it. I love Sprite. All right. So Megan's Corner, sponsored by Megan. You can find us on pretty much any social. We will have that linked and Gabe's linked, so you can look at some awesome tattoos. Maybe in the future you'll see one of our tattoos that Gabe did. So you just gotta follow along for that adventure. And then send us an email about your failure. You can email us at friendsoffailurepodcast@gmail.com. friendsoffailurepodcast@gmail.com. And that could be totally anonymous. Put your name to it. It can be funny, sad, short, long. On the long side, though, we don't want a novel. I'm not going to read 30 pages. So cap it at like, okay, never mind. You can send 30 pages. And I think that about covers it in Megan's corner.
Disclaimer, I was lying. I'm not going to read 30 pages. I don't know, man. If somebody took the time, they're like, hey, man, if they're like, hey, man, I'm a big fan. I've been listening to all the episodes. I had to write you this 30-page novel because I held it in for 107 episodes and I finally have the courage that I might.
It's just
read
a person like unraveling over 30 pages.
Oh yeah. By the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, like we need to check in on this person.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, you know, it would be really cool. Anybody that's listening that wants to tell us about, you know, their craziest tattoo experience. It doesn't even have to be a failure. Just tell us about your craziest tattoo experience.
That would be a good, yeah.
Hopefully we get an email from Gabe and he's like, man, you guys want a tattoo story.
We should do another one just about failures. I'm good in failure too.
Yeah.
We love to have people back, so it's always an option.
Yeah, I enjoyed too much to be here with you guys. So it was really good time here.
Yeah, like he just becomes another one of the people that I guess like one of the hosts of the show. So like he's just in every episode while we have like guests going on. And then over time, like we had a fourth person and a fifth. So it's like a whole panel.
It's just a giant Zoom. Well, he's like tattooing people while we're like
yeah. Portugal's still great. Dude, we would have the most unique
very
podcast. Yeah, like it's always Sam and Megan like talking and interviewing, but then like Gabe's always doing the tattoo of the week, and then we have like someone who's, you know, I don't know, knitting something, and like you get to see knitting progress every week, and like you just tune in to see all this crazy stuff going on.
Chaos.
Hey man, anybody listening right now, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you realize we got big things coming our way. Not only is Sprite metaphorically going to be sponsoring us at some point, but we're going to have Gabe. We're going to have Gabe tattooing people. We're going to have, you know, people. It's going to be great. With that all being said, this naturally segues into, you know, the thing that we love to remind everyone every week. Just remember, guys, life is happening for you, not to you. So go out there and do something. Like maybe get a face tattoo.
If it's not I'm stronger than you, it's I'm wiser than you, I'm more loving than you, I'm more tolerant than you, I'm more sophisticated than you. It doesn't matter what it is, but this constant competition is going on. This is the secret. This is the secret. You can't make a mistake.